jolly reprobates. It is Sunday night. It is 10 p.m. It is the APAT show. What else could it be, Lee? We're not alone in the madness tonight, right?
We are not. Well, we thought it was just going to be you and I. Then all of a sudden we heard a knock on the door at a couple of minutes to 10. So we said, who's there? He said, it's Dan Williams from Poker News. So what do you want?
Who?
He said, well, can I come on the show? He said, well, I'll tell you. Go on then. Why not? So welcome, Dan Williams. How are you doing?
Got any spare change, please, Governor? How are we? You well?
We're not bad. Dan, all the better for having you here because, I didn't really want to talk about football tonight. I want to fill the time. An hour and a half is a hell of a long time if you don't want to talk about football on this particular show. But now that you're here, there's lots happening in the poker world, right? Scandal and tournaments and all sorts. We can talk about other things, right?
We can certainly try. We can
certainly
try.
Some things we can't. Some things we can't talk about, though. Sure. That whole let's just touch on this very, very briefly. But that whole scandal thing with Bobby Lou Gentry, it sounds like a character out of a country and western song. You know who I'm talking about, right? That's taken a further step or two since we mentioned it last week. There's all sorts of speculation, just all over the place.
So, Des, before we go there, because we're going to talk about that,
do it.
I want to let you know it's my usual shout out as soon as we start the show. You've actually got 1 minute and 45 seconds left if you want to get into the APAT show Turbo Knockout that started at 9 o'clock. There are 52 runners already in that, so we've hit the guarantee. If you want to get in that, minute and a half now, and give that a go. It's $11 buy-in. Play along whilst you listen to the show if you want to do that. Just need to give that shout out.
Fantastic. Well done. Get in, guys. If you're not in, you can't be spoken about later on with some disdain by the three of us here in the studio. So Bobby Lee Gentry, we're going to come back to, right? We're going to come back to that. We're going to definitely talk about that, although I'm not sure how much we can say, but we're coming back. Dan, I'm expecting some sort of exclusive insight with a Poker News hat on, probably very unofficial. We might need to turn your camera off while you're talking, but we'll see where we go to with that. But outside of that, there's a bunch of our what I would call I'd normally call them our sort of normal weekly viewers, but normal might not be the right word. We've got Tony Ross in there. Good evening to you, Tony. One Simon Lawler, of course, who's probably watching us in some sort of ultra high definition format, on his wall, live from YouTube or something. Simon has just said, just registered Eventbrite for Day 1C Manchester.
Oh, there he goes.
Lee,
steals our
talk
thunder.
to me.
Steals our thunder.
Talk to me about that. Simon also says, good evening, Dan. I mean, it's all so friendly. It's just the top of the show. It's all so friendly.
Well, let's get that first bit of information out there for those, as Simon's already jumped in it. So about 20 minutes ago, Tom posted up in the Facebook group. So we've had a few issues in getting the kind of pre-registration set up for Manchester. You'll now see in the lobby on Partypoker that the online day one is now in the lobby, ready to go for this time next week. So next Sunday, if you want to play that day one online. There also will be satellites this week building up into that, so you can try and get in on the cheap. For those that just want to actually just guarantee their seat for Manchester, whether it's to play the Day 1B on the Friday night or the Day 1C on the Saturday, normally we would put a holding tank on Partypoker. We've had a few issues in getting that done. So what we've done is we've just opened up an Eventbrite, which is free. So you can just go and reserve a seat that way. Get your name in, get a seat reserved. You just then need to buy in on the day before the tournament starts. I think we're putting about a sort of 15-minute before the tournament starts, if you can just be there to be bought in. So if you want to reserve a seat for Manchester, there is a cap on both days. So if you do want to play a particular day, go on Eventbrite. You'll find the link that Tom's posted on Facebook and just literally pop your details in. Say no cost, just means it guarantees you a seat for you to buy in on the day at the venue.
Fantastic. Like that very much. It's going to be a huge weekend. Lee, it's not that far away, so get in, guys. Get your seat now, because I think once we release this in Manchester, I think this one's going to fill up pretty darn quickly.
I'm pretty sure that we will sell out. So same as we did for London. It's a freeze out at the venue, but you can have a free bullet playing the online one next Sunday if you want, and if you do win your day two stack through the online one, then you're already in the money for the Sunday. and you could literally just rock up on the Sunday and know you've guaranteed a min cash at the very least. So well worth giving a go. Now, talking about min cashes, young Brendan Byrne has been on a bit of a flyer tonight. He's on the final table of the PLO. Yeah. He min cashed the main event that we're watching at the moment. That's down to 3 at the moment. He also min cashed the deep stack. So yeah, he's just picking up a little bit, little bit of profit along the way today. But let me give you a rundown on where we are for the week. Anyway, to be honest, I kind of thought the week was going to be over. I don't think there's a huge amount to talk about because there is one player at the top of the leaderboard who has cashed 6 times so far this week.
Nice.
You're sitting down, Des. He's a step 5.
Holy sweet Jesus, Mother of God! What?
It is. Unfortunately, Dylan Herbert is absolutely had a fly this week. Haven't seen Dylan playing at all tonight. I get the impression he's kind of gone, I've already got enough points in the bag here.
He's declared.
Yeah,
he's declared. He's in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he's already sat in the 19th hole. He's been sipping a beer, making a beer last all day, I'd imagine, because he likes a bit of value, does Dylan. So he'll have made that one last all day.
I'll tell you what, you cannot begrudge Dylan a huge run this week. So let's see if it's enough. Does he have any close callers?
He doesn't. Dylan had already banked 298 points. The second best player was Ben Bundy, who's 3 cashes this week and has got 100 points. So Dylan literally has 3 times the next best player. It's he's pretty much going to be guaranteed top spot. I think.
Lee, are we going to do a Paddy Power? Right, let's do a Paddy Power, Lee. Let's sort of say, sure, it's done now. We'll pay out. Dylan is paid. If somebody comes from behind now and wins the thing, we'll still pay them both. Should we do that, Lee? Should we do it? We'll pay them all. We'll pay everyone. Everyone's getting all the money. Just sign up now.
It's just reminding me of the Des impression that Team Gotham did about the leader of APAT.
Oh, the leader of...
I tell you what, it didn't sound anything like me, Lee. It didn't sound anything like me. I'm the leaader of APAT. Leave me alone in my bed now, sure.
Yeah, you'll be getting away with it. It'll be fun. So so Dylan's looking pretty much guaranteed at the top. But let me give you a quick rundown where we are. So Deep Stack has already concluded. Oliver Cox picked up the win there, beating Luan Marquez from Brazil into second place. Phil Jenkins was third. One of my most favourite players in the APAT circles was fourth in that event. Player from Brazil called Vinicius Fortuna. Love it. That's the name. Ideal name. What a
Vinny Senior. Vinny Senior, I think we're going to call him.
Exactly. So No Limit Hold'em is heads up, as you can see on the screen. It's Anders from Sweden playing Andrew Cowgill from the UK, and Anders has got a sort of 3-1 chip lead, so that's looking pretty good. As I say, top 8, just over $500 up top.
Nice.
In that particular one. We're down to 6 in the PLO now. It's paying top 4. Brendan is there. I'm going to assume Brendan's going to finish 4th. Because that seems to be pretty much what he's done so far tonight.
He's getting it quietly, Lee. He's getting it quietly.
As soon as the money hits, he's just, that's me done. Thanks very much. I'm quite happy. Dan Austin is also on that final table as well. So what we will do is once this heads up concludes, we'll switch over to the PLO and keep an eye on that. And as I mentioned earlier on, the APAT Show Turbo Knockout started at 9 o'clock. We ended up with 54 runners in that. So Sweet. We're down to 24. It's paying the top 9. And just having a look. I can see Adam Burke is in there. Herbert still got a stack in that one as well. Patrick Casera as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as well as we get to a conclusion.
Oh, fantastic! Look,
talking of Paddy Power, I think they've paid out on Liverpool getting relegated, haven't they?
Oh, sure. It's far too early to go there, Dan. I mean, we're not going there until at least 11:45. That's when we agree. But we do have. Listen, we have intelligent conversation in the in the chat box. Let me just bring this one up first of all. This is from a young whippersnapper called Stephen 40. Don't know if you recognise that. Oh,
I don't even need to look at it.
I can't do that. No,
it's going to be clop bashing, isn't it? I know it's going to be clop bashing. Yeah, exactly.
I can't do that. I can go to this young fella from Manchester who goes, "Evening all." All right now, eh? Nice to get to actually watch for a while. Also, no, I can't pull that off. It's Asa, everyone. Asa's there. Registered for day 1C. So it's nice to see people beginning to get the registrations in for.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in, now's the time to get in, because we're sending a mailer out this week confirming that to the full database. So for those that do pay attention on Facebook and or watch the show, now's the time to get in and get your seat guaranteed.
Simon says Dylan's been crushing, and in fairness, Dylan's been knocking on the door for a while now, right? So fair play to him. He has been crushing.
Yeah, no, he's steadily picked back up. So I think he's pretty much done back-to-back steps from 1 right up to 5. So very much will be deserving of his. I mean, it's decent. He's going to pick up 3 lots of $55 worth of tickets for this win this week. So yeah, very, very good indeed.
Absolutely, and in his best impression of a Catholic priest, just wondering what conjugals are like. Tony Ross says, "What are the most cashes in a week for a player?" I
think it's Tony.
He must know.
I think it is Tony, and I think it's 7 off the top of my head. Somebody else might have matched 7, but I'm pretty sure. I know Tony's done 7, and I think 7 is the record.
Did we get him to mail in a urine test that week, Lee?
Bear in mind, we're on week 76 of this leaderboard ladders, so we've got a fair bit of data to analyze and keep an eye. Yeah,
7. Simon says, bet Fred. Well, I can't do a Fred Don. I mean, not saying that I did a Paddy Power impression well, but I definitely couldn't pull off Fred Don. So I don't know if it was Bet Fred that were paying early. I remember a few of them tried to get in on that type of act. Wayne Parker, Mr. Nosy P himself says, you do a good Irish accent, a bit of a, I'll take that for what it is. I agree. Wayne says, we'll be registering for Day 1C as well, so lots of players.
I have a feeling the Saturday afternoon will be quite popular. So if you do want to play that Saturday afternoon flight, then I would highly recommend getting in and getting that booked up sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
The daft thing is we had the little glitch that we had, which Tom's explained on Facebook, and we've posted up just an article on the website about it. Is so our stack sizes and structure now starts with a 100k starting stack, and it's in line with what mostly Partypoker Live do, and you'll see now. But Manchester 235's chip stack doesn't go up that high.
I have all sorts of questions, Lee, none of which I'm willing to ask live on air.
Basically, so all we've had to do is we've literally had to kind of quarter everything back down just to fit the stacks, the chip stacks that they've got, which is no big deal. It doesn't change anything at all about the way it'll play on the day, but we've just had to make an adjustment.
Yeah,
accordingly.
I'll tell you what. Listen, I've got a little test that we're going to do here. So Simon has just posted Dean Egg's hand versus Brian Kenny was a highlight of the week, ? Got to admit, don't know the hand, but Simon, do me a favor. Go to the APAT website, right? Go to the APAT. You're going to test something here for me. Go to apat.com and click on the APAT show link in the category, and then click on APAT player, right? Do all of that. And you'll see a stream, right? The stream of the show going out live on the APAT player, on the APAT website. And in the top right-hand corner, there's a little link. Just click the link. So you come live onto the show, right? You can do it with your video or not with your video. That doesn't matter. But just come and talk us through Dean Egg's hand against Brian Kenny, because I don't know what it was, but I'd love to hear. So little test there for us.
It's a good one. I can tell you that much. It's a doozy.
Yeah, I did read something about Dean Egg's having a bit of a change in look. So, perhaps that is, what that refers to. But we will see. Let's see if Simon can actually get through there.
So Anders beat Andrew in the end in the No Limit Hold'em. So I've switched us across to the PLO, which has got 5 players remaining in that, and we're just watched Dan Alston pick up a hand against Brendan, and actually Brendan now has got he's got a couple of bigs left, and they're going in now this hand. So let's see what happens. Going to get a call from Dan. Richard King's also on this table as well.
Yeah.
Richard finished 4th in the No Limit Hold'em, so he's doubled up on the main event tables tonight and final table both. So Dan bets out. Richard's out the way. Just Pierrick from Belgium, also in the hand, who's a chip leader. And Dan had actually flopped the straight there. And so unfortunately, it's bubble boy time for Brendan. In cash 2 already tonight, but he's just going to miss out on the money this time round. And the guys are now in the money, four-handed. $360 up top, just over 200 for second, 136 for third, and 96 now minimum cash for the 4 remaining players.
Nice final table, as Simon Lawler said.
Yeah, be interesting to watch this one actually, because Dan's got a bit of a stack now. So actually, be interesting to see what he does with that. And I don't really know Pierrick or Archie, Archie Watson there. So we will keep an eye out. So I don't really know much about the Bryn or the D-Negs hand, but I mean let's just, should we very briefly, because you touched on it earlier on. I don't really want to go on too much about it, but just get Dan's view on the hand that everybody's been talking about for the past week or so. Lots has gone on since we were on the show last week with accomplices and chips being taken off the table and forgiveness for that, or not wanting to press charges for that. But it's still investigations ongoing. And I guess my stance is still, well, until all the evidence is out there and you actually know exactly what you're looking at, it's very difficult to offer an opinion one way or the other. And any opinion you offer can have an impact on those people involved. What's your thoughts, Dan?
So obviously it happened. I think it must have been like the Saturday or Sunday. So I came into work on the Monday and saw all of it. And at first glance, I thought sort of 95% innocent. If I'm honest, it felt to me like Robbie was kind of a new player that wanted to be featured in these live games. She's obviously started playing much larger buy-ins, and it comes to fruition that she's got a backer who is also Logan Paul or Jake Paul's like boxing promoter. So obviously not short of a few bob. She's a very pretty girl. She's definitely got like the look to kind of make a name in these live streams. So to me, it was a little bit of, maybe she just got a little bit excited and didn't quite know what she was doing and said cool. And then it's kind of backtracked a little bit to kind of make her story a bit plausible. And obviously giving the money back to Garrett, to me, felt like a play of A, she was uncomfortable in the situation, and B, maybe she, Garrett holds a lot of keys in that game. For those that don't know, the guy that she beat in this wild hand, he's the biggest winner in these games. He pretty much gets a say in who gets to play and who doesn't get to play. So if she's trying to build a brand around herself as a poker player, being on the wrong side of this guy for these games is not good. So that was my first kind of thought process. And so I was probably 95% innocent, 5% unsure. And then I flip-flopped every which way, but loose this week with all of the evidence that's come out. And, obviously we've heard about somebody peeling some chips. One of the dealers or production team peeled some chips off her stack. Was that for payment for something, or was he just, taking a chance? And then that's convoluted. She wasn't pressing charges. The last I saw, she was pressing charges now because she's found out he's got a criminal record. Who knows? But I've listened to pretty much every minute of the Joey Ingram kind of investigations on it. Listen to all these top pros, listen to Sean Deeb, listen to everybody that wants to have a say. And I'm kind of 50-50 now. I think I just want to find out the truth. It's crazy to think that is cheating, because who calls Jack high in that spot anyway? It's just not an obvious spot to cheat, right?
You called with Jack high?
Exactly.
Jack high, called with Jack high, called with Jack high.
I remember that. It's fantastic from World Series of Poker, 2002 or something. Absolutely brilliant.
Something like that. Yeah, it
was probably a bit later than that, but it was absolutely classic World Series of Poker.
I was going to say, somebody in our chat will know exactly when it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm expecting Simon to come back any minute with that. The Oracle.
It was a final table, wasn't it? The guy's passed away now.
It was brilliant because the guy, he ran out onto the street. It's like he left Binions, or wherever the hell it was being played, to run out onto the street to tell anybody passing by, he called with Jack. Oh, it's Elix Powers, 2003.
Elix
there you go.
Powers, that's it.
Thank you, Simon. That was classic, an absolutely classic memory. So listen, I made a joke about this, of course, in the intro. It's far from a joke. It's very, very serious. The allegations are serious. And one way or another, somebody's going to lose here and somebody is going to win outside of a poker hand. Mr. Edelstein, G-Man, has opened a thread on 2+2, as I understand it, and he's put a whole host of alleged stuff up there after consultation with his legal team. So it's carefully worded, but it does include links to several videos that are potentially there to be questioned in terms of some of the stuff that's visibly happening. It's a really interesting thread, of course, as with any thread on 2+2, gets passionate quite quickly. This one could run for a while, but in any event, there is going to be a winner and there is going to be a loser. However it runs out. And I don't quite know. I know they've got an independent sort of investigator at Hustler Casino looking into this, but I don't quite know how they prove what happens at the end. I think there'll just always be serious suspicion cast on one side.
I think there's something to be said that if the casino itself has got an investigator in, just how partial are they? First and foremost, they can say they're as impartial as they want to be, but if they've got the brand kind of to worry about, there's that. Yeah. I think there's so many people that have been brought into it now. A lot of regulars on the show, like Beans and obviously Rips the backer, and now there's something about another guy that's had a bit of an upswing in the last 2 or 3 months, who goes by DGAF, which
honestly, it's like the cast of the Goonies, Lee. It's like going back to the cast of the Goonies. They've all got a name. They've all got like a short name. It's like Brazil 1970. What's going on there? What's ever happened to John? John played the hand this way.
Well,
it's like Rip
poker
did this.
Poker is the big loser in all this. I think the game's getting so much mainstream attention in the media, and it's not positive.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, look, it's not all bad. I had a look at Bobby Lee's, Twitter upgrade. She's like adding 10,000 followers like every couple of days.
Oh, don't on her Twitter. She made
it's
a comment
like it's gone mad.
I follow all these people. I only know about 95. I don't know 95% of them. I just follow people that are interesting. So I went and checked my Twitter. She wasn't following me.
She's out, right? She's out.
But she was following one of my friends, and I was just like, "Oh, right, okay." So this goes to show just how uninteresting I am, because they've never met either. But yeah, I don't know. We could sit here and come up with wild kind of theories on what has and hasn't gone on. The fact that you've got people like Sean Dean at the moment, who has been very much sort of calling out for the cheating angle. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got people like Joey and other pros that are absolutely the other end. The fact that these geniuses can't figure it out means us mere mortals have no chance. So we will just sit and wait and with our popcorn and watch it all unravel, I think.
Yeah. It's amazing to think, though, that it has made the BBC, it's made other national newspapers here in the UK. I mean, that's crazy. And obviously, as far as the Hustler live stream is concerned, that was a very successful, and I've no doubt will continue to be a very successful live stream. I suppose there's good and bad and everything, right? But it has added a hell of a lot of eyeballs to what's happening over there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
we missed the trick, Des, with the 5-card Omaha running man from Walsall in season 2. If we'd have really gone to town with that one, honestly, we'd have had eyeballs on APAT, nationally, internationally. It would have been huge.
I'll tell you. Do you remember last Easter, last summer, when we September when we did the WCIP online, and we had access to the live hole cards, Lee. We had access to the live hole cards. We could have created that whole thing, right? We'd have had to create APAT characters with just one name, right? Give me a list of 2 or 3. I mean, let's just script it now. Who would the key characters in the scandal have been? What would we have called them? And what would the actual hand have been? Right, Lee, you tell me the 3 characters. Dan will tell us the hand.
We do just need controversy, don't we? That's what we're really lacking. Is something just to get it going. And
Chris Webber.
Chris Webber, yeah, I like it. So he'd be in there. Come on, give me two other players that would have been in the hand with him. Obviously, one victim and one conspiring fellow player. Come on.
Well, I think we'd need Adam Slug Sharples in there as the victim.
The Slug is the victim. Okay,
yeah.
And he's got a name.
And then the co-conspirator should definitely be Snoopy.
Who? Snoopy.
Simon Lawler.
Simon Lawler.
Is Snoopy the dog? Simon is the Oracle. What are you? You're way behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so Snoopy is the co-conspirator. Webber is the man. Right, what are we going to call Webber? What's his nickname?
Robin.
For this? Huh?
It's just Robin, isn't he?
Robin. Okay. So, yeah.
And that works perfectly.
It's a double entendre.
Is serious.
Yeah. If you think about it, that's perfect, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not like Rip and, Badger and sort of all of the people on the Hustler Live casino stream, though, is it? Robin and Snoopy.
That's it.
Britain doesn't really do nicknames very well, do we? As a country, we're not great with nicknames.
We've just proven that.
In the States, nicknames, they've got them absolutely down to an I mean, like the American footballers have all got nicknames and all the, whereas in this country, we don't give our footballers nicknames or anything like that, do we? It's just
no, I think we should maybe we should get Steve Redfern in as like Mr. X. That would look pretty good on the screen, wouldn't it? Mr. X.
AMRN, I think Steve would have to go for. Simon wants the Bisto Kid in there. Who the hell is that? Wasn't Ben Grundy was the Milky Bar Kid? I mean, you're right. We do terrible nicknames here.
That's different gravy, that isn't it? Yeah.
Different gravy. Different gravy.
Dear.
We're here all night. Birthday boy's in. Right, he survived it. Right, it's been a week now. There we go. Evening all.
So obviously,
his avatar's your goalkeeper. Did you see that avatar there, Des? That was your goalkeeper, wasn't it? Just like somewhere near the ball.
I'm not going there. Listen, I've been giving Steve Forty a hard time because he's posted up a lot of Liverpool content already tonight. I've ignored all of it, but he has said, "Is that Dan Ouston from Musgrave Park Hospital? He looks so much younger than I thought."
Different Dan.
Who's he talking about?
Different Dan.
Oh, different Dan. No, it's a completely different
Dan.
And Ace has said, sounds a lot like the cheating scandal going on in chess also. Now, I had heard that there was a cheat. Does anybody have the details on that?
No, I'm aware that there was one going on.
The basic is some guy has gone from like a pretty good rating to like super elite grandmaster very quickly. He played in a tournament and destroyed everybody, even like Magnus Carlsen, which surprised everybody. So the next time Magnus Carlsen played him, instead of not turning up, because I don't quite understand the chess rule, but that would mean something, Magnus turned up, made the first move, pawn to c3 or whatever, and then resigned, just to be like, I'm not playing with this cheater. You can all bugger off. So, so then now that somebody said that supposedly the guy had a vibrating instrument up his bottom to be told whether he was
that explains Simon Lawler's comment on the show last week, which
the anal beads. Yeah. Because when you said there, Lee, just as Dan finished, electric device up the bottom, I thought it brought back an unhappy memory or something. I think we move on. Listen, Stu's out there and he says all the American footballers in my fantasy team are nicknamed useless beep this week. Well.
So that little teaser, because obviously Dan was talking about it's all losers in poker and it's not good. But well, I know of a winner in poker who also happens to be the APAT show's Las Vegas correspondent.
Yes,
and he's gonna call us in about 10-15 minutes.
Is he? Fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll have.
Listen, I hope he's lying not naked. Obviously, I want at least underwear on, just on a bed of dollar bills or something. I hope he manages to do that for us.
Yeah, Pete has had a very good 7 days since we last spoke to him in Vegas.
Good for him.
He's just bust a comp at the Bellagio, some high roller thing, I'd imagine, with all he's been earning this week. So, but yeah, he's just waiting for a friend, and then he's going to find somewhere quiet and give us a quick call.
I don't think there are any tournaments going on in Vegas at the moment. Are you sure he's not grinding the strip clubs?
I think if you say grinding the strip clubs, it's quite different. It's not
Let's
quite.
Let's hope he's grinding the strip clubs and he's finding somewhere quiet for 10 minutes time. Yeah,
absolutely.
As he's chatting.
I was going to say, just check our ratings on Facebook, Des, that we're not suitable for work or kids or anything like that. We'll be okay. Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, as long as he doesn't start the interview as he did last week with, I can't hear you, but carry on anyway. Yeah, that makes for a difficult interview, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. So we lost Dan in the PLO, and we're heads up now, which is Archie against Pierrick. So we'll keep an eye on that. So let's I tuned into the Formula One this morning.
Oh, Lee. Sorry, you tell your story first, and then I'll.
I was interested in your take on whatever the hell went on there. Well, apart from the race, there's the race itself, which obviously the weather wasn't great, so that caused all its own problems. But then what went on afterwards was just tell me this. So, does anybody in Formula One actually know the rules of Formula One, or do they all have to go and look?
So evidently, both the top teams had to
whilst
go and
you're doing Formula One at the time, what surely knowing the rules when you're doing your Formula One stuff at the time would be really useful.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have time to worry about that. I got to be honest, because look, my story, and we'll come back to that, right? But my story starts with today is Sean's birthday. Now I was working today, so we couldn't do the birthday today, but I took her into London yesterday, and we went and saw Moulin Rouge, which I thought was a really nice birthday present for me to buy her. So we went and spent a couple hours at Moulin Rouge early on in the day.
The DVD. You bought her the DVD for Moulin Rouge.
We were there, my man. We were there, if you catch my meaning. So it was a really good show. Lots of and all of that sort of stuff. It was really good. In any event, we went and did a few bars afterwards. Got home, it was late. So a bit of a lie-in this morning. Got up, had recorded the Japanese Grand Prix. So I thought, fantastic. I'm up. I've given her a little bit of breakfast in bed. It's all good. I'm going to watch the Japanese Grand Prix. Nobody's up. It's really quiet. So I went to the skybox, went to the recording, hit the whatever, and it took me live, just as they were saying, we can't believe Max Verstappen has just won his second world title. Incredible stuff. And I'm going,
oh, wow.
What? Couldn't believe it, Lee. Wow. Could not believe it.
But that saved you like 2 hours of just doing this.
It might have done, but
they were sat around
to invest the 2 hours.
They were sat around, and when they actually started the race, they tried to make it interesting, but it really, really wasn't at all. Did you see how he found out? So basically, he's having Johnny Herbert's interviewing him. Halfway through the interview, they just put this video up on the big screen behind saying he was world champion. And even he didn't believe that it had actually happened. And they have a little throne room. Did you see the throne room?
Look, I was crying through it all. I was crying. I felt quite emotional by the whole thing, I have to say. Not the result, of course, just the giant spoiler. But yeah, they had a really weird-looking throne room, and I saw the interview with Johnny Herbert where he's sort of laughing, going, "Oh, it's great, it's fantastic," and he's walking up the steps, going, "Have I actually won it or not?"
Yeah,
and they're going, "Yeah, you have," and he's going, "Really?" He's just done the interview with Johnny Herbert.
It felt like an interpretation of the rules that it was just like, yeah, let's get it over with now. We're in Japan, let's just, this works. We'll do it here. Yeah, and that was that. And so it was just bizarre. It was the strangest thing in the world. As Asa says in the chat, the scary thing is the person who wrote that rule book after Spa last year is the guy that they sacked.
Is it any wonder they all had to check?
Literally just reading the rules to work out what was going on. Yeah,
and then they probably needed a little process to say, yeah, so that is the rule book, but now are we actually going to do that? Maybe we'll do something different.
Did you see the bit that Ace is just talking about it now? Did you see the bit where Gasly was literally full pelt and there was a truck coming the other way?
Sort of caught a little bit of that.
So there was a truck still on the track removing the debris, and he was under red, absolutely pegging it around this track. It was insane. So
yeah, not good for lots of obvious reasons. That one. Mr. 40 says, nice Des. Me and Mrs. 40, we were in Oxford this weekend to watch Derren Brown. Great show. Nice. Do you know what? It's nice to get out every now and again. Really, really nice. Asa says, and someone will get sacked for letting a truck on the track with cars still on. And yeah, I mean, yeah. I forget his name, Jules. I want to say the Formula 2 driver who lost his life going back 5 or 6 years ago. Similar sort of incident. A huge friend of Pierre Gasly, and there was Gasly in a similar situation, or nearly avoiding a similar situation today. Madness.
Absolutely frightening. So this is your 5-minute wiggle vision warning. Hopefully Pete will be on the line in about 5 minutes time, Des, so just need to look out for him. Have
you told him no copyrighted music or video or anything in the background that might?
I don't think you can stop these strip clubs from playing whatever music they want to play, Des.
He's in a strip club, you say? Carry on. Tell him it's all fine.
They only play 2 songs. It's either Motley Crue or Cherry Pie. That's it.
Tell him if we get taken offline, that's totally fine, just to keep that stream going.
Yeah, that's all we need to worry about. So that'll be fine. So we're down to
that sort of thing in Vegas now, do they? That sort of thing is done with. That's
the quickest 5 minutes in the world.
That's what she said.
Is he there? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, Pete, we know. Hold there for a second until I subtly deal with your. We'll just
get you on screen, Pete, and we'll.
Okay. Yeah, I borrowed somebody's. One of my friends.
Oh, we started already.
He doesn't hold back. Don't disappoint.
There we go. There he is.
All right.
That doesn't look like a strip club.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah,
we were promised a strip club. What's going on?
No, just in the Bellagio at the moment. I'm not spending all my money on loose women and wine.
No, quite right. I was telling the guys that sort of thing doesn't happen these days. I don't think I've ever been in a strip club in my life. But I was at Moulin Rouge yesterday, so I can't claim total innocence. Pete, we heard you're having a cracking time in Vegas. Tell us about the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I kind of, I think last time we spoke, last Sunday, I sort of said to you, I put a lot of the bigger tournaments to the back of my schedule. And I managed to make day 2 on Friday, the WPT opener in the Bellagio. Yeah. I was going to play the win, but I decided to play the Bellagio because I won a WPT 300, as I said, and I just fancied playing that event. And I had a 30k overlay because it was really badly promoted. So I got the benefit of that, made day 2, and I've just literally gone out of that in 15th round 10s into jacks, unfortunately, but I was short. So I was quite happy to make the money. But yeah, my highlight of the trip so far was obviously to win the Big O yesterday, because all my backers are like, oh, why are you playing this event? I'm like, because I'm good at it and I've got an edge. And they're like, okay. And I'm not joking. I did run particularly well, and it was my birthday as well.
Yeah.
So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to play what I want to play. But obviously the backers are very supportive, and I discuss everything with them as well. And but I just got really, really lucky in good spots where I have premium hands. As we've discussed previously on previous APAT shows, a lot of it's about hand selection.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into a pot like with ridiculously bad hands and get exceptionally lucky. I've gone in with premium hands. To give you an example, we were 4-handed, and I was up against this guy who plays a lot of WSO. I recognise him. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting when the Hendermob results come up, because I like to see what his name is. But he looked really, really familiar, and I'm pretty sure he's had some big results in the WSOPs. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I've raised with Ace Deuce 8-7 King, which is a good hand, and he's re-raised me, re-popped it, and so it was a big raise, and it takes like 30% of my stack. And I thought, do I call this? Because if I miss, I'm a little bit screwed. But I thought it's such a good hand, and we're 4-handed, so I already had about $3,000 locked up. I thought, right, let's go for it. And the flop came down. So you tell me if this is a good flop. Bearing in mind, I've got Ace Deuce 8-7 King. The flop's come down 9-5 953, I think it was. So I've got the nut low draw, gut shot, and an up and down straight draw for the straight, for the high. So he went all in. I stuck my chips in. All he's got was aces. He didn't even have a decent low. I think he might have had ace 8 or something like that. So the turn card came a king, and at this stage I'm going out of the tournament, and then bink, I hit the five on the river, and it's like, way! And I've got to say, I am not normally quite an emotional person, but I was jumping around the room. I was like, whoa! And I went massive chip leader. There was 2.8 million chips in play, and I think I had over 2 million. 3 players left. So I could have really, well, I did trounce the other players quite a lot, and then we got heads up. And this guy was quite a good player. It was on my first table. We had 2 bullets, and then we ended up doing a chop deal simply because I was so tired. I played all day on Friday, and I played all day Saturday, and I was just absolutely shattered. And I had day 2 coming up today. So,
but Pete, you took the trophy, right? You took the trophy, and they very, very thick end of 10 grand. Am I right?
Yeah. I took
incredible
9,822. And I said to my backers, my goal really for the trip was to get them, a 5-figure score. So that was really what I was after.
Yeah. Incredible. And tell me, how tempted were you? I know you were tired and everything, but and I know you've got responsibilities of backers, but how tempted, given that top end was what, about $12,000? How tempted were you to go for it?
Well, I was, but the guy was coming back, and I mean, basically, if I'd have come second, got $7,000, I would have felt gutted.
I agree.
And I think if I was feeling, 100% and everything was going in my favour, then there's no doubt I would have played it out. But I just said to the guy, look, I'm going to offer you a deal that if you don't want to accept it, that's up to you. But I offered him basically I wanted to take an extra $500. And so basically he kind of dwelled up about it, and we negotiated, and we just came up with a deal. But more importantly, I wanted the trophy. That trophy is so cool.
Yeah, very cool. Shape of the win, right? It looked amazing.
Yeah. And I had a picture taken. I sent that to the Hender Mob. So it's going to be on my profile on the Hender Mob. So to win a big O for me is I know I'm good at high-low Omaha. Yeah. It's just nice to rubber stamp that, really.
Yeah. Well, listen, fair play. Fair play, Peter. You were confident for that event. You went and got a huge result. So tell me, how much longer do you have left over there? Any other tourneys left? And if it was to stop right now, were you super happy with your week?
Oh yeah, I'm over the moon with my results. To get 5, I think I've had 6 cashes now. 6 cashes in 8 days, or 8 or 10 days. And I've still got a couple of tournaments. I've got a friend over from Los Angeles now, so I'm going to spend a bit of time with her this afternoon. And I'm pretty tired, so I don't think I'm going to play poker today. And so tomorrow I've got the seniors, and there's a big seniors at the Bellagio as well on the Tuesday. So I'm going to speak to the backers and see if they want to have a little look at that. So we're going to sort of look at the last. I've got 2 days basically, Monday and Tuesday. So we're just going to look at those and pick. There's on Tuesday there's a PLO knockout as well, though. So I do quite fancy that one.
No, absolutely. Well, listen, a lot of love for your results over here, Peter. Simon Lawler is saying, hopefully you went for a steak and eggs special at Ellis Island afterwards. I don't know if you had the time for that.
Well, funny you should say that. I got to the Bellagio. I don't know how he knows that, because I went to the Bellagio, and it was supposed to restart at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's what they told us. And on poker outlets, it said the same. So I got there at 11 o'clock, and I met Paul, the WPT director, that a lot of people might know. And he said, we've decided to restart at 1, because I think they finished quite late on the Saturday. Yeah. But it's pretty annoying that they didn't let us know. So I had 2 hours, and I could have got extra sleep, could have gone down the pool. And so I just decided, I thought, right, I'm going to go get a slap-up breakfast down at Ellis Island. So I went down there and had fried chicken with eggs and sourdough toast.
Nice.
And potatoes.
Nice.
is a good breakfast down at Ellis Island. Can't
Well,
beat it.
listen,
I walked
Pete,
past 2 Packs Memorial.
Pete, yeah, I know you're in the Bellagio. You're still in the Bellagio. I suspect you're probably closer to food than you are to gambling there. Are you anywhere close to the floor, to the gambling, the casino?
Yeah, we are pretty close. Yeah,
Go on, switch your camera. Switch your camera around, right? Go face camera.
Oh,
Start walking towards the gambling.
Actually, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
do it, Pete. Show us a bit of Las Vegas gambling. Come on. I want you to sit with some American couple at a blackjack table and say, "Hey, you know, do you mind if I bet behind you?" Oh, he's gone. Oh no. Oh, he's back. There we go. Hold that camera up, Pete. Come on. Oh, you've got company. Hello there. Hello.
Right, so we're going to walk into the casino now.
There we go.
I'm assuming I'm not going to get into trouble, am I?
Well, you might do, Pete, but we're okay with that.
Yeah.
You just tell them you're with the APAT show. They'll immediately withdraw. You just watch.
Yeah, that's true. Right, so this is the entrance from, if you're coming in from the Venetian.
Yeah.
So you've got all the slots, and over to the right is the sports book and the poker room. There's a lot of, I've seen Steve Zolotau playing in the card room. There's a lot of professionals playing cash over there. We've got the O Theatre as well, which is where they have the Cirque du Soleil thingy.
I want you, listen, Pete, I want you to go up to the cashier's booth and say, can they take a deposit of $1 million? Do that for us, Pete. Go on. Just say, look, I've got $1 million in cash. I want to know which booth I have to go to deposit that. I just want to see the reaction.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Here we go. What do we think, guys? Is he going to get away with this?
Cleaning the floor.
It's very early. It's obviously it's earlier than anticipated in Vegas.
Looks like they had your breakfast.
Oh, this is brilliant,
a lot
though.
of people are enjoying these particular slots, and they recognise a lot of them. Right, we're not far from the craps table. Yeah.
I have to say, though, it just brings it back to you how big these casinos are in Vegas, right? Pete's been walking for 90 seconds now. And it's all the same, right? Nothing's changed. Oh, here we go. Right. $1 million. Come on. Ask for an upgrade to the biggest penthouse they have. Tell them you won 9,000.
9,000.
Just say, I want half an hour, please. And the two of you should wander up there to the reception. See how that works out? I think we might have lost
we've lost him. I think we've lost him.
Oh, no. Oh, I think we might have lost you, Pete.
He's gone.
We're going to disconnect him there because we did lose him, but what a fabulous effort. Would you agree?
I'll be back at the fucking Terminator.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, dear.
Keep going, Peter Wigglesworth. Quite right. So, he gave it a go. Top guy. And what a result. 10 grand, fair play. He said he'd do it. And he's gone and done it.
Yeah, I mean it's superb performance. When he posted up him with the trophy and everything in the show group, absolutely
Fair play
chuffed for
to
him.
the lad.
Yeah, really, really good.
Listen, guys, I'm just going to tune out, reset my camera. You guys carry on, right? I'll hear you anyway. I'll just disappear. Okay, at least I think that's what happens. If not, we'll see you all next week. That shouldn't be the case. It should be fine. Here I go. All right, you guys carry on, right?
We'll be fine. of the week, it always adds to the whole thing, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing worse than going to Vegas and not cashing. That is not fun.
So I don't know whether we're going to blame you for the disconnect or we'll blame Pete for it. But either way, great to hear from Pete over in Vegas and give us a taster of the week that he's been having. But as I just said to Dan, if Vegas is great anyway, but if you can have a few cashes along the way, it doesn't half make it a much more enjoyable trip. So that's for sure. So meanwhile, the PLO's concluded, and Archie Watson actually managed to get the better of Pierrick Talon, who had a 3-1 chip lead at one point there, I think it was pretty much. But Archie managed to fight back and has taken the win. So we're down to 12 in the Turbo Knockout, paying top 9 in that one. So we'll keep an eye on that one as
lovely. Right, while this break is on, I'm going to go let my dog out for a wee.
Yeah, it's 5 to the hour, so players are on their break. So yeah, so the Formula One again, it felt like another sort of just a bit of a weird end to the season, Des. And I'm not a big Formula One fan. Yeah. I'll watch it sometimes if it's on, but I know you are. And do you think these sorts of things don't really do the sport much?
Oh, no,
good or not? Or?
They don't do the sport any good at all. But you've got to admit, whatever about the drama of the final race last season, this was just bad luck, right? It was just really, really bad luck. I mean, Verstappen was cruising literally to the world title. He could have taken it in Japan and seemed a pretty strong favourite to do so. He just needed the win with the fastest lap. But he would have almost certainly taken it in America in the next race. Just a really unfortunate situation to, again, have ended up in a sort of a strange, bizarre ruling, meaning that actually instead of half points, normal points were being allocated.
Yeah, I mean, all during the commentary they were talking about, it'll be, if we can get through so many laps, it'll be definitely points, and then through so many more and it'll be half points, but that's it, that's what it's going to be. And then somebody read this little thing which basically said if the race has been started and then it stopped, which is what happened, then it can be full points. And you just think wow, and it would appear absolutely nobody had even thought of that being a possibility. So it's such a shame. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of a sport where there's such a deep rule book, right? And it's so technically written and stuff like that. So yeah, it was missed, and of course that meant that he didn't get that celebration over the last couple of laps that he almost certainly would have otherwise got. But, c'est la vie, it is the rules, and he's allocated the points, and I'm sure he won't worry too much, or Red Bull, they'll enjoy. Well, I was going to say they'll enjoy the rest of the season, but that sort of depends on what happens tomorrow, because tomorrow the FIA will rule as to whether Red Bull have broken the spending cap from last season. And this has been an ongoing discussion for a couple of weeks now, and there seems to be some suspicion that they have. If that actually transpires, then there is a possibility that they'll lose some points. And if Verstappen loses points in the individual, then Lewis Hamilton arguably would win last season's title. So a little bit of drama to come tomorrow.
Do you think that's really going to be? I mean, I would argue even Hamilton probably wouldn't. Is at a point now where he's okay, I've moved on from that. It is what it is. If they,
I think Hamilton would take it in a shot.
Really?
But I think it's unlikely to happen. Although I think it's not impossible that Red Bull could lose points, but I think they'd lose them at team level, presumably, as opposed to at individual level, because neither of the. But I haven't read up enough on it to find out what everybody thinks is going to happen. But I would have thought if they were docked some points, Mercedes would have no issues whatsoever in taking the title, because if Red Bull were spending an extra couple of $100,000 a race, developing their car in a way that Mercedes weren't, then frankly,
that's not fair. I know. I guess it's no different than when they have kind of drug cheats or whatever in athletics, and they go back and go, well, actually, right, you're not having the silver medal anymore, you get the gold, and you're not the and retrospectively they change it. And
so
for
it's
those
messy as hell, right? But that's life. C'est la vie. That's what happens when you end up getting a penalty.
But the punishment should be more, because that's properly bringing the sport into disrepute if they've done. I mean, if you can't keep track of your numbers of what you're spending and you're trying to find ways of cutting corners. I mean, it's no different than, I guess, the football with the financial fair play and they now all pay accountants to try and find loopholes and ways of making it work in their favor. So I suppose it's no different than that, but
it's an auditing process, right? So I guess it happens at a point. To me, the bigger disappointment in today is probably the fact that this title was able to be won so early. Because the season started with a lot of promise. Ferrari and Red Bull were very, very close. There was the new sort of cars in play. It seemed like the racing looked like it was going to be a lot closer and stuff like that. And then Red Bull have just sort of pulled away and have been completely dominant. Well, certainly Verstappen has. Perez hasn't dominated, as you might expect the Red Bull number 2 to. Hasn't done so. But yeah, just a shame to see it done as early as it has been done. Yeah, no, it is a bit of a shame. So my footballing questions of the week then to you both. So let's start with the first one. Do you think Manchester City can go unbeaten for the season?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they should do, but I think it's unlikely.
I mean, so obviously the last team to do it were the Invincibles of Arsenal. I think, I mean, how many have Liverpool lost in the last couple of seasons? They've only lost a couple of games in a season.
Yeah, not too many.
Not many. So, but do you even this City side, you think they'll just have an off day?
Yeah, because they always do.
It depends. It depends how deep they go in the competitions. I mean, their squad's so good that they could probably win the domestic cups field in their fourth string.
But defensively, Dan, they concede. They do concede. So they'd need to have an off day up front, admittedly, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that they, won't have off days at the back. I mean, they're certainly capable of that. So I think it's unlikely, because I actually think they're good enough to compete, for all of the trophies this season. And I think if you do that, it's just bloody hard. You're going to end up, if they win the league in April, for example, they're just going to end up deprioritizing some of those games, I'd have thought. So possible, but unlikely. It would be my view. If anyone could do it, it's probably that team.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they've got enough strength and depth within their squad that I don't think injuries are going to be much of a problem with them. It's just whether they do have an off day, and I guess the Premier League is a much more level playing field, weirdly, than it was 20 years ago. Whereas probably that Arsenal team didn't have that many teams they really had to necessarily perform against. Not to say that, so it's still an incredible achievement, incredible thing to do. But it will be interesting to see. So my next one is just a simple one to you, Des. What is going on with Mo Salah? I'm not going to beat Liverpool down, but simply Mo Salah. Watched him today, and they took him off when you were needing goals. He scored. Is it 2 goals he scored so far this season? This is a guy that was top of the, winning the Golden Boot or up, in the race for it for the last few seasons. Just since he signed that new contract, he's just gone off the ball. Or is it since Mane? Is it since Mane's left as well?
No.
What is it?
Say that he has half a season off every season. Apart from that season that he scored 30x goals, I mean, he didn't play for the second half of last season.
So he's not played for the second half of last season and start of this season.
Yeah.
Are you worried about that, or?
Yeah, I am.
So what do you think? What do you think's behind it?
It's really hard to say, isn't it? I mean, it's just not a. I think for a player like Salah, you've got to be in a brilliant mindset, right? So he's got all of the skills, but it's like everything else. You've just got to be super hungry alongside that, and I just don't think he is at the moment. You just need to have momentum. You need the team to be maintaining, that momentum as well. And the team are not playing well, and they're, it's an aging squad, and just all of the levers are slightly misaligned. Which is not to say that with a good signing or a great result, or that they couldn't sort of click back into gear again, and Salah would be a beneficiary of that and can absolutely up his game. But right now, he's just not firing.
Do you think part of the reason that that Trent is having at the moment, he's getting a fair bit of stick in the media and from other fans about his defensive abilities. We all know what he can do, going forward, and there's suggestions that's the reason why he's not first or even second choice for the England team at right back. Do you think Salah's drop in form, playing in front of him, has an impact on that or not?
I don't think so, because Salah, Salah will defend back, but that's not, he wasn't as prolific as Mane in previous seasons at doing that. So Mane on the other side would defend back with much more gusto than Salah. Salah was much more often told to stay up, keep their defense back, get an opportunity, run at the defense, that sort of stuff. So, but that hasn't changed, right? That's always been the case. The issue with Trent is he's not a right back. He's never been a right back. He, as a youngster, he was a midfielder. He's much more a wing back today than he's ever been a full back. And I just think, the nature of the way Klopp plays him, the ball goes over his head and he's continually having to run back and he's chasing forwards from the wrong place. Now, quite how you would excuse what he did for Arsenal's second goal today, where he was in the middle covering a runner and he decides to just go after Hendo and
Martinelli,
right?
Had him absolutely, just
so stitch them both up. So that's like just a moment of madness. So I think he's probably almost certainly suffering lack of confidence at the moment, and again, that's a team thing, and you could see it in the reaction of the Arsenal players when, with every goal they scored, they huddled, they were together for 30 seconds in a circle. It was very much a us against the world type thing, and Liverpool have always had that, but they just don't seem to have it this season.
Well, there was an interesting comment by one of I think it actually might have been Gary Neville in the second half, where he just said, where's the press? Where's the Klopp press?
Yeah, he's right.
Well, they don't have it. They're too slow.
It just wasn't there. And when I saw your team today, I thought, I just looked at it and thought Arsenal are going to absolutly rip you to shreds.
Yeah, but the reality is
if you look at the core,
they didn't rip us to shreds in the middle. They ripped us to shreds on the wings, particularly Martinelli on Trent. I think that's where they were most, in the second half a bit more so, but in the first half not as much. But I wouldn't have expected, that is a strong upcoming Arsenal team.
Somebody beat them this year, didn't they? Who beat them this year?
Yeah, United have beaten them. But you can't look at that Arsenal team and still say, they're just waiting for the fall off, or they I don't think they're going to. I think they will make top four. No question.
I think they've got confidence, and actually, confidence is the big thing, because you can actually get a bit of momentum going then, and you can go off on one. And they all now believe in Arteta. Did you watch the Amazon documentary with Arteta? Yeah. And basically, a lot of people came out that just absolutely ripping the piss out of Arteta and what he was playing. You'll never walk alone on speakers. It was all David Brent. It was all what's he doing? But actually, there seems to be a little bit of method to some of his madness. He's obviously from the Pep school of putting a team together. And once they all believe in what he's doing and follow that, they get the results. And you were a bogey side for them. They really struggle playing.
I think that's why they celebrated so much on winning that game. I think for that reason. But look, Arsenal's biggest challenge will be how that squad, which is a fairly tight squad, right? It's not like they've got depth in every position. They just don't. It'll be how that squad gets. It's the old classic, how they get through the Boxing Day period, Jan, Feb. It's whether they can survive that 2-month period and still be in a challenging position. Because a lot of, you know,
it's
what you
different
might
this
call
year, though, Des.
skillful teams. You got the World Cup,
but it's different, yeah, because the Boxing Day thing is that's the first games back.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
maybe you're right, but that you know, there will be a period when the pressure's on and the weather's not as good, and that's typically when teams who play beautiful passing football, who haven't been doing it year in year out,
it will be interesting because they were due to play Man City in a couple of weeks' time in a midweek fixture, which is the ones I think where I think Amazon have got all 10 games live on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but that's been moved. Because they're having to replay the postponed Europa League game, and they've got to get those done before the World Cup starts. So basically, they've shunted the Premier League game. So actually, in a way, they don't now play they'll play Man City twice towards the end of the season.
Oh wow! That'll be interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting. That's been completely shunted, obviously, because they've got to be in before the World Cup.
While I think I need to, I remember this, I've got a couple of tickets for Liverpool and Man City next weekend. It's on Sunday. Might not have an APAT show next weekend. We need to figure that one out. Maybe Dan can step in and host.
Well, we're going to hopefully cover the day 1A of the Manchester event.
Oh, let's do
next
that
Sunday. So that will be the
do
plan.
that.
So we'll find a way of covering that off one way or the other, definitely.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll change my plans then. Maybe I'll give those tickets away on the old LFC Twitter thing. Who knows?
Well, where are you? Where is it at City?
No, at Anfield.
At Anfield. So what are you? You've seen what City are doing at the moment. I'm
talking about giving the tickets away, Lee. What do you think? It could be a very painful day. I mean,
even at Anfield, you think they could just turn up and give you a lesson in how to play?
No. Well, yes, obviously, because I think they could turn up and give any team a lesson on any given day. But I think Liverpool are probably one of the few teams. I mean, you look at the Charity Shield, right? We hammered them 3-2. I think Liverpool are one of the few teams that could, go toe to toe with them. But if Man City turn up with Haaland in that imperious form, and Liverpool are playing as, non-consistently or inconsistently as they are, then you could easily see City doing a number on Liverpool there, because they'll just counter-attack us to death. It'd be a nightmare to be at, a terrible game to go to. I'll pay anyone to take the tickets.
I mean, do you think are Arsenal the only team that we think are going to give City any sort of run for the title? Are Tottenham in the mix, Dan? What do you think?
No, I don't know. Tottenham haven't got the strength to do. I mean, Des, you're right about Arsenal. They don't have a great deal of depth at all, but I think that starting 11 is phenomenal. It's young, it's hungry.
Yeah,
couple of old heads on its shoulders that can sort of grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. Which is kind of different to you guys now. The core of your team is looking a little bit tired. It's like us three running around on a Sunday afternoon. Not pretty. I'll be honest, I know people will laugh, but not for the title, but I think United are going to go strength to strength. Now Martial's back and is fit. I mean, he already...
he limped off today, yeah?
Yeah, I saw that. But he'll be back, I'm sure. But and Rashford's firing. I don't know. I just think United have got top four. I've got a feeling that this season they're gonna put some bits together. Man City are just gonna piss it, right? Excuse my French. I mean, Haaland's gonna score 50 goals. Every record's gonna be broken. And then he'll probably go to another league. Rumor has it that he wants to go to Italy or Spain next, doesn't he? So,
but the thing about Haaland is, and this is the unknown, and I hope you really like my ventriloquism here. I'm going to try and keep that up for a little while. But Haaland gets injured, right? He doesn't go a season without getting injured. So he could be, it's just a matter of time, they tell me, that he could be on the sidelines for, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah, but do you know the other thing? The other thing you've got to build into that.
Yeah,
Haaland's not going to the World Cup.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
He's basically going to play 2 kind of half seasons.
Yeah. Have the Spanish team tried to buy him up at all?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, there's been rumours that there's supposedly was a clause in his contract that if Real Madrid came in with a bid that he would be able to go to that, but even Pep came out and said that's just nonsense. Wouldn't surprise me though, as I said last week on the show. I think he's the type of person, and with his father and an agent around him, that he's got a career plan in his head of what he'd like to do. And
didn't his dad say that he wants to be top goal scorer in the 4 major countries, the 4 major leagues? So he won't break Premier League records because he won't be here long enough, or something along those lines. But
they were offering, so Sky Bet are offering. What odds do you think they're offering on him scoring 260 Premier League goals, which is basically the record, isn't it?
So Shearer's record. I would have thought still quite high, Lee. But I guess that's the question. What is high? Because I just don't think he'll be here long enough.
No.
I mean, crikey, I'd be disappointed if it wasn't at least 25-1 or above.
15-1.
Ooh.
What? I know that.
It's not even a bet worth putting on. Bear in mind, it's something you then have your money tied up for probably
10 years.
8 to 10 years.
Well, I saw that.
That's crazy.
I did see that they were offering like 250-1 on 40 goals this season, and I know that Patrick Leonard made it.
Oh, I'd have a piece of that.
Oh, they did it. No, this was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Now it's down to like nothing. But I think Patrick Leonard had a 10K side bet.
He's got a bet with
a
side bet with a friend, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, for 40 goals. And I think he got something ridiculous, like odds on it. I want to say he got maybe 300-1 or something ridiculously stupid. And
Now, talking about goal scorers, our super sub came off the bench today and scored his 700 club goal. Had to wait a little while, to be honest. He should have stuck 3 more in on Thursday night, but he didn't. So he had to wait for a good finish today, actually, from him when he came on, and nice to see them all celebrating together. But are we ever likely to see the likes of him and Messi from a goal scoring point of view again? I mean, 700 club goals. You'd need to be scoring, as Gary Lineker beautifully summarized it on a tweet earlier on. That's 35 goals for 20 years.
Lee,
thanks, Gary.
Lee, I know this is going to sound rather stupid. Were United playing today then? How have I missed that?
7 o'clock kickoff, Des.
Oh, well, on a Sunday, they're having a laugh. When do they expect people to work? Are you kidding me?
Ridiculous.
Who do they play tonight then?
Everton.
Oh, how did that go?
We won 2-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Obviously, we gave Everton the lead because that's what we normally do. And we, to be fair, we dominated the game after that. And how it was still 2-1, and we had the last 5-10 minutes where we were clinging on, and Pickford was up for a corner, and it was just ridiculous how we allowed it to. We actually scored a third, which got disallowed because in the build up it bounced up and touched Rashford's arm. And this is the thing I don't understand about this handball rule.
Well,
so if
Liverpool had a Stonewall today, right?
Well, if it happens to a defender in the box and it just accidentally hits their arm, that's okay. But if a forward it happens to and they score a goal, then it gets disallowed. Something doesn't feel right with it.
Well, I don't get it. Liverpool had a Stonewall today. Cross is going in. Granted, the defender's quite close. The hand's out. Ball hits the hand. It's locked in. It's not like it's a driven cross. It's
I assumed that was going to go to VAR and had to get given.
How's that not a pen?
Yeah.
I
don't understand.
He stopped the cross with his hand.
Yeah, I mean, so Rashford's goal, Des, if you saw it, it just sort of bounced up, glanced his arm. I don't think he really even gained any advantage from it. He was going through anyway. It wasn't, so it was just a nothing thing really. But it got disallowed.
Don't get it. Simon is saying that the big game is Monday night.
It is.
What's the big game? Who are we talking about?
Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest.
Who are they playing?
On again for another Monday night. Now, last Monday they were playing local rivals Leicester in a basically bottom 2, wasn't it?
That didn't work out well.
Leicester absolutely pummeled them, didn't they?
They did.
Is it 4 in the end? Which is but then Leicester have then gone on to lose this weekend as well. So it doesn't really kind of
So Simon said it's Monday night's big game is Forest Nell against Aston Villa.
Yeah, Forest nil versus Aston Villa. Yeah, so Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. Let's not
sweet Jesus.
Let's name it right, because obviously when I said we were playing Everton Day, what I meant is we were playing Frank Lampard's Everton. Is what I meant. Yeah, so.
It's like Arthur Haley's Hotel. Yeah, it doesn't quite work the same.
Have any of you still holding on to Salah in your fantasy team?
No, I didn't even start with him.
Do you know what? Every season I've done fantasy football for the past 10, however many years. I've never put him in because I can't stand him.
But this year, this season, bought him.
And then I had to take him out, didn't I? Obviously. I'm very disappointed. Who is winning? Let's have a look. APAT. Danny Mew, top of the APAT Fantasy Football League.
Any idea where I am, Dan?
Well, Lee is in third. I can see that.
Wow. Fix.
I'm in seventh.
Yeah.
I'm in seventh.
You're in seventh. That. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're only paying out prizes for third and seventh. That's it's the way we're doing it.
Yeah. Des, I'm looking for you. Hang on.
Oh, sweet.
To be fair,
the
to
screen
Des,
on my phone's not long enough.
Yeah, a bit like my club. I started late.
To be fair, Des didn't earn any points for week one. So he has
started.
Did I only miss week one?
Lee, to be fair, he played this week and barely earned any points as well. So I wouldn't say too much.
How could that be? I've got Haaland in my team. What the hell?
So hang on. Let's go through his team.
Jesus.
So he had Raya in goal, 0 points.
Great choice.
Alexander Arnold at the back.
Okay, come on.
Phil Jones, 0 points.
You haven't got. How have you got Phil Jones?
Listen, Phil Jones can be in my dressing room. Okay.
Hang on. Zanka, 0 points.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
2 points. Colback,
but hold on, you're just telling me my defense have conceded no goals.
No. Yeah, hang on. Salah, 2 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Mbemo, 4 points. Jesus, 5 points. Now, the best part of this is his bench. His bench was Cancelo, 18 points. Murphy, 8 points. And Haaland, 6 points.
What's he doing on my bench? Well, you don't want to. I know. I'm aware of his injury problems. I don't want to. I don't want to use him up too early. I'll put him in during the World Cup.
Wow. He's got Man United's number 4, Phil Jones, because he won't give up the shirt number, so he's clinging on to it for dear life. No, and you've got Haaland. Goodness me, Des. You do know you can go in and make changes each week to your team.
Look,
you do know
I just don't have the time, Lee. I just don't have the time.
And interestingly, Des, we've not had your entry fee through into the bank account yet.
Haven't we? Am I meant to pay for this as well? Yeah. What? Really? Where do I send the money to? Just tell me now. Tell me now, and I'll burn it and send it. Come on. Yeah. Tell me now. I didn't even know, Lee, there was an entry fee.
No, there isn't an entry fee at all.
There isn't an entry fee. Okay.
We always run these things for free. Unless Simon Brooks running it, and then he charges an entry fee. So.
Oh dear!
That's the way it works. So we're down to 4 in this show, APAT show Turbo Knockout. None of them have a chance of doing anything on the leaderboard.
Okay.
This week,
but one of them does have a hustler's nickname, Old Smock, in the corner there. Come on, Smocky boy.
Great name.
Des, you were complaining that their names were too long, so
I like Smock. That's a good name.
Victor Hugo M.
So I will try and work out where we're at from a leaderboard. Although we already know who's picking up the win for the week. Dylan Herbert is not going to get caught by anybody. We've already paid out on that Paddy Power style, so that's already done.
Lee, I've got a question for you. Why the hell is my camera freezing every week?
I have no idea. It's quite annoying.
I mean, I've talked Sean into putting on the heating and everything, so it can't be that.
But you're that's on your phone, isn't it? So
yeah.
It should just be there's absolutely, because that's just as a.
I've used a new phone this week.
Do you get a new phone every week?
No.
I just cycle them, Lee. I just cycle them around. I just show them to the kids and then say, nah, not for you. Not yet.
One day.
Come
one
back.
Day this
24 or 25.
All this will be
one
yours.
day this will all be yours.
That's right. I hold the phone out and say, "Get a bloody job. Go on, get a job."
These 3 stubbies of beer, the 1 Foster's can, and I bet they're like bait. Are they the little appetizer like cans of Diet Coke for a G&T?
What are you talking
Just
about? In my fridge, in the background.
No,
those are big Cokes. Those are grown-up boy Cokes. There are no small. There are no small Cokes in mine.
When you get on a plane, you'll have to have 2 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're left stuck with them, right? You're left stuck with the 2 bloody tinnies. What am I going to do with these? Right. So what you do then is you put them down on the floor and you throw them forward.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Right then. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do whilst we're waiting for these 40. Well, we don't even have to wait for these 40
we don't even know who these people. Who are these people on our games taking over?
Let me let you know that. Well, actually, there is a little bit to play for because Patrick is there, and he's actually he'd actually finish in the top 3 if he wins this. So he has got a little bit to play for. But basically, Dylan Herbert he has pretty much got triple the points of the next best player, and he's going to pick up 3 lots of $55 tickets this week. So very well done to him. Brendan's efforts tonight, though, have moved him up into 2nd place. So he's on a step 2. So he's going to pick up double tickets. To say Patrick, if he wins this, he's going to pick up doubles as well. Ben Bundy's definitely going to get double tickets. Roman Champy is going to also pick up double tickets, and Nico Seghorn might do, depending on where Patrick finishes off. Other than that, Des, it's all 1s and 2s in the top 20. Richard King's 2 cashes tonight, though, have also got him into the top 20, and Yanni had a couple of cashes tonight, I think, and that's got him into the top 20 as well, scraped in 20th place. So well done to all of you guys. Say once this tournament comes to a conclusion, I will update the final leaderboard for the week. But the important thing for the week to know is that next weekend is going to be day 1A of the Manchester event. So you can play that on Partypoker if you want. £120 buy, and you'll see that in the lobby already. There will be satellites this week with some guaranteed seats into that. If you want to give that a go and try and satellite in. That's the one opportunity you've got where you can have more than one entry. So if you want to play your online and don't get through, not a problem whatsoever. You can then go and play one of the live day 1s if you want to, whichever one you want to play, either the Friday or the Saturday. But the live day 1s are effectively freeze out. In the money on day 2. So if you do get through online, you'll take that stack through to Manchester on a week or 2 weeks today. And we'll already be in the money to be able to play that. It's at Manchester 235 Casino. And if you do want to reserve a seat in the live day 1, so day 1B is on the Friday evening, and day 1C is 3:00 on the Saturday afternoon. We've opened the Eventbrite for that. It's free to reserve a seat. You just need to then turn up in advance of the tournament on Saturday and pay your buy-in. Otherwise, your seat will be allocated elsewhere. So no cost whatsoever. Just the links are up in the Facebook group. Just go and pop your details in and reserve a seat.
Fantastic. Donka.
I did hear that for Brendan's 2nd place in the leaderboard ladders, he's also going to earn the Irish captaincy this year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Shush now. Don't be pulling the P out of the Irish team.
Hang on. I hear a bus pulling up outside your house, Dan. That'll be Frank. Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I need my driveway doing, so it's fine.
Oh, it's just going low. I mean, it started with my Paddy Power impression, very, very bad. And now we're concreting or tarring the bloody. What are you saying, Dan?
Well, do you know what? I have a
just
feeling
not on.
Patrick's just bust Victor in 4th place and has got serious chip lead here now. He's got twice as much as the other 2 put together. He might well do this and actually get into the top 3 and get double tickets. I reckon. Looking at this, it's very much going in his favour. That is for sure.
With your APAT Manchester online day 1, if the chips carry through to day 2, do they stay in play? And the reason I ask this is I definitely can't make it, but I might play the online leg.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So basically, your chips will chips for day 2. Chips go into play, and you'd basically get blinded out.
Which I would last much longer than playing by doing that, so that's fine.
To be honest, that was my fantasy Premier League strategy, Dan. It's not a good one. It's not a good one.
I'll be honest, I can't do any worse than I did at the Worlds, where I lasted 3 hands. So after carrying a stack through.
Yeah, but if you wanted to play the satellites this week and play the online day one and get through with a stack, then not a problem. If you can't make Manchester the following Sunday, then your chips will go in play and they just get blinded out, and you'll end up with whatever cash you end up with. So
sounds good.
Well, with it, looking forward to it. So Tom's going to be up in Manchester for that weekend, and we'll be looking after it there. Although he's on a bit of a trek, so he's gone from. So we last saw Tom in the Czech Republic, where we got the conclusion of the APAT German Championship. He's currently in Malta for the Battle of Malta. He's then flying back into the UK for the APAT Manchester event, and then flies back out to Malta for the APAT Malta Championship. So which is going to be end of the month. So Saturday the 29th, Sunday the 30th of October. Yvonne and the team raring to go with what's going to be a great another Malta Poker Festival. And then before you know it, we are going to be poker squads in Nottingham in November. If you haven't yet reserved your team in that, it's teams of 4 for the weekend event. All the details are on the website. But if you do want to reserve a team, you do need to get that done. So you need to drop Tom an email confirming your details and who's going to be in your team, so he can get you a spot in that, because they are getting reserved quite quickly. I think we probably have only got about 15 or so maybe spots left, I think, something like that. I think about 50 odd have gone already. So
very good. Very good. I can't wait for that one. We're going to make a bit of a production of that one, aren't we? We're going to go up.
Yeah, that's the plan. We'll be up there. Assuming, I don't know how far Dust Till Dawn's building works will be completed by then, but we'll find out. They've got about 7 weeks or so to get themselves sorted. And we'll see what.
We'll speak to Derek and Rob and them all up there, and we'll see whether we can be the ones to debut the studio. Lee,
be nice. Would be nice if we
just
could
say to Derek, just hand it over to us, Derek. It'll be totally fine. We'll keep everything nice and shiny and dust free.
It'll be fun. So how's poker going for you, Dan, at the moment? You're still putting schedules in on Sunday. Are you streaming at all or not?
No. No, my internet went a bit crazy. The last time I was on the show, I ended up having to do it off my phone because my internet had gone a bit Pete Tong. So I play on Sunday. I mean, there's 9 left in this Sky Poker Bounty Hunter that I've been playing along in the background, but nothing particularly massive up top in that. But yeah, I'm not playing a lot really. I mean, work's busy, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And a lot of traveling involved with work at the moment. So sort of trying to balance.
Where are you traveling to? Are you within offices or to venues and?
No. So I'm doing a lot more now with the sort of live events now. So okay. I was in Barcelona for EPT Barcelona. I'll be in London week after next for EPT London. WSOP Europe, I'll be in Rozvadov, Prague in December, Bahamas in January. That's all booked in. So yeah, a lot of traveling, doing a lot more stuff on the live event sides, which is cool. It's exciting. It's a good opportunity. I kind of all the American stuff that I was managing, we've done and put into place. Obviously, a lot of the licenses are there or thereabouts, so it's cool. And poker's massive in America, so that was quite easy to kind of construct for what I was looking after. So I'm taking on some other responsibilities as well now, so that'll be cool. Nice to be recognized for hard work, quite early on in the tenure. So yeah, so it's good. So yeah, but it just means not a lot of playing. I can play a little bit when I'm at these festivals, but there's a lot of managing of people and stuff. So it's quite taxing. So when I come home, poker's the last thing on my mind, if I'm being honest. But I am trying to get a squads team together. I'm hoping we can get there. I know it kind of sits around the WSOPE timings, which is awkward, but I'm hoping some of the UK based guys might want to get a team together, but just trying to figure that out. So maybe there'll be a Poker News edition. Who knows?
Oh, that would be great. I mean, it's lovely to work in an industry that you're both interested in and like and, you know, have a bit of passion for and all of that sort of stuff, Dan, right? That's just a good thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. But it has its other side, right? I can't sit and play poker most nights of the week like I used to, because I'm almost pokered out talking about it, dealing with it. So
well, that's okay.
Yeah, it does have,
you know, that's okay.
Yeah, of course it is.
It just means that, you know, okay, maybe you get to play less often. And I had this when we first set up APAT. So of course we set up APAT because we all thought, you know, playing more serious type recreational tournaments would be a great thing. You know, that would be a great experience to have.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found that, like, I couldn't actually play any of the events, having set them up, because just my I just wasn't interested in the game. It was just fun to sit down. So I think what you will find is that when you do get a chance to play again, you know, it's just fun. It's just enjoyable, more of a release than a competitive type thing, or at least that was my experience.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, I'm very fortunate now. The opportunities I'll get to play less regularly, but probably more
interesting games.
Yeah, you know, an EPT, I can, if I've got a day off or I'll take a couple of days off, I can play something. But I'd be more inclined to go and play, I don't know, the EPT 8 game for 500 quid and just enjoy myself, as opposed to grinding a whole schedule. And it's the same with the World Series. You know, I can play a couple of events and that's fine, and that's really cool while I'm out there for 3 or 4 weeks, as well as working and networking and doing all the other things I need to do. So I think it will become a very different outlet, but equally enjoyable.
Yeah. Lee and I had a similar experience right at the start of APAT. We used to play similar type events that you've described there. We used to call them Ticey sit and goes, similar sort of, you know, multi-structured events, weird sorts of formats, big buy-ins, very serious. It normally involved holding your cards on your forehead. You remember them, Lee? Those were great days, right?
And interestingly, I mean, it was. We always talk about trying to get more women in to play poker, but I always seem to find the women used to win those quite regularly.
I wondered about that too, Lee. I wondered about that too.
Chris Beans in the chat and says, "Count me in, Dan, providing I'm not in."
He's too good.
So
he's too good. He can't come. He's a ringer. That guy. He won on the stream last week. He's a ringer.
We might both be in Rosfordov for that. Yeah, but we'll just play it remotely. Can you just set us up some tablets? Come on, Des.
Absolutely, we can do that. We could put 4 cameras on a table.
We'll create an on live. Hey, on live. That's a good idea, Des. We should do that.
On live. Nice.
Hybrid competition. It's definitely the way forward. I saw that Dusk Till Dawn were doing some live satellites for the WSOP Europe. I saw them.
Yes,
Rob posted up about that, which is that's great. I surprised me. I was thinking when I saw that posted, I thought, wouldn't it be great if you could have day ones in kind of your home country, and then you just travel for the kind of day 2, 3, and 4 or whatever other main event. That bit, you know, like surely within Europe we'd be able to do that, and that would be quite a good thing to do.
Yeah, I suppose it's hard, isn't it? Because it loses that. For me, what I loved the most about being at the World Series when I played, yes, it's great to play a WSOP event, but I was sat on a table with a Brazilian and an Argentinian and a couple of Americans, and the culture that I kind of got to discuss and engage with was equally as enjoyable as going, oh, I'm playing a bracelet event. So you'd lose that, wouldn't you? It'd just be you and your mates at your local card room playing against each other for another prize.
Are you not sat there with your sunglasses on and your headphones?
And
no,
your hoodie?
No.
Yeah, your hoodie up.
No. How? Why would I?
You're never going to win at poker, Dan. If you take this attitude, if you're not going to take it seriously,
you want to talk to people. You're not going to win, Dan. What's going on? You just think of the tells you're giving away.
Obviously, where I've been failing the last years. Yes. But yeah.
No,
so I don't know.
I get that. You're right. I do. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it is a nice to have a kind of a trip. I think I also wish they'd get better satellites on. Nobody seems to do satellites properly anymore. Everything seems rushed and forcing you into playing the next available one. And do you remember back in the day, you used to be able to kind of build up some tickets and then then have a go at something and maybe a week later or whatever. Whereas now everything seems to be same day. You've won that satellite, right? We'll put you into one in an hour's time, and then you've got to win. And before you've had to commit 10 hours in a day to try and work your way up the satellite tree, and because they're putting on bigger guarantees and they therefore need to commit to the player, to get the numbers. And it's it's all changed so much.
I can't believe they've moved away. I remember when I sort of first started playing, and I ran a league in our local snooker club, but the winner, after 16 weeks, and it was a very basic format. It was two tables of 8. And if you finished top 4 that week on either table, you'd move to the table, the top table of 8 next week. And if you were the bottom 4, you'd move down. So there's always this revolving same set of players, and they paid an entry to join the league, and then they'd pay a weekly fee. And the entry itself would actually pay out at the end of the season based on points in these sit and goes, a GUKPT main seat and then a GUKPT side seat. So that's what we do. And then you'd play for the weekly money each week, if that makes sense. So each sit and go would have a bit of a payout for the week, but the entry fees cumulatively would go to that. And I'm amazed now that poker's booming again in this third wave of the poker boom, why there isn't more stuff like that where people are putting on these sort of 12, 16, 20 week commitments. We don't have to play every event, but generate loads of rake and then give away a WSOP Europe seat, as some sort of incentive. Because I just think it's going to drive so many more players to play regularly and deposit more, rake more, which is ultimately what they want to do, or what they want people to do.
It's telling it's the aspiration, isn't it? It's giving people something to play for, and we just seem to have kind of they've gone away from the satellites of being able to kind of grind up from not very much to get into a bigger thing and experiencing a bigger tournament. It doesn't seem to be the thing, or maybe it's also just the fact that there's now so many people online that they just basically grind the satellites because there's value in them, and therefore it becomes unappealing. I know some of the sites have got you've just got stables of players that's all they were doing was grinding the satellites. Well, if you were just a reg going in playing to try and do it, it's not competitive. You really don't have an edge on it, or even a fair level playing field. So it kind of puts you off even trying.
Well, I remember years ago on PokerStars, Steve Chidwick used to just sit in the step. Remember the step satellites? He used to have step 1 through to step 10 or 9, and he used to just sit. And I think the one year he wasn't even old enough to go to Vegas, so he must have been 19 or 20 maybe, and he won 7 WSOP main event packages. Hell. Just by sitting in step 6, 7, and 8 and just destroying all the qualifiers that come through the satellites. Wow, which is crazy.
Yeah, but it doesn't say. It's just unfortunately, it's poker has moved on a little bit, and it seems to be a faster churn of games and players, which is a shame. And people, I don't know whether maybe it's just people's lifestyles have changed as well, and then trying to people to commit to weeks and weeks and weeks. We see it obviously with the APAT games that we do.
Yeah, Simon's out there, Lee.
But it's a tough one, isn't it?
Simon is saying, stopped playing feeders as takes too much out of your day. APAT sets are good, but inconsistencies in ticket expiry.
No, we're going to try and have a look at that, because I think some of that Simon pointed out this week that I think the $11 tickets last 30 days, but for some reason the $5.50 ones only last a few days, and I don't know why that is. I mean, we're one of the few that insist. So I mean, if you play most of the party poker satellites, the generic ones, you'll be lucky if your ticket lasts 48 hours. We insist with party poker that all APAT tickets, all the added value ones, they all have a 30-day expiry on them. So it's something which we've absolutely stuck to and said that's what they need to do, and fair play, they've actually they've honoured that and done that for us. But I don't know why. Some of the generic ones we run on the $5.50 ones are different, and it is and it's confusing for people. And I don't understand it as well, to be honest, as well. Why can't you have a ticket I've still got a ticket in my PokerStars account for like a $55 big something or other that I've had for about 6 years. And it's just sat there. I've just never used it, but they'll honor it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, the good thing you guys have got now is now that the pound has dropped its arse and it's the same as the dollar, you can use your dollar satellites and your pound satellite tickets the same. Surely for APAT events, you know,
this has been our
these
plan
guys
for many, many months now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simon does go on to say, look, only a slight annoyance. The sats are well structured and fun, especially if you bink. Fair deuce.
Yeah, but actually, I'll really low buy-in satellites. So I think we've got like 33 cents and 55 cents ones like that. They're hugely popular every day. People crush those every day. Just literally pile into them. And they've got guarantees on all of them. So they say, really, with APAT, there's no excuse not to any bankroll you can get in and play the events. I mean, the main events on a Sunday, we run the phase feeders from $3.30 into those all week. So you can even have a chance. Normally top prize on a Sunday night is about $500, something like that. So the fact that you could
normally
spin $3.30 up to $500 in a week just playing some APAT games that's pretty cool. And all in the call, it's a sixes Patrick against the ace 10, and Sue's going to hit with the ace, and is going to double up, which puts them not nearly evens now. But to say, it's the only difference here is Patrick needs to win this to finish third on the leaderboard. Let me see whether he's going to get enough if he finishes. Actually, I think second place will also get him in the top five as well. So I think that's pretty much going to answer that question. Actually, it's going to be all in the call here with the King 6 ahead. Just needs to avoid a 10 or a jack. And a jack on the river means Patrick lives to fight another day. But yeah, Patrick's going to be in the top five now, whatever. So I think pretty much, Des, we can say we know the top two. Dylan Herbert with 6 cashes, Brendan with 4. So well done to both of you guys and everyone else that's cashed. Tony Ross is in that top 20 as well this week. Had a couple of cashes, so he's down on step 2 at the moment. He's just decided to go down and see how the other half live.
It's only temporarily, I'm sure. Lee, he will be back.
He didn't like it, so he's back up to step 3 next week. So he's on his way upwards trajectory.
I'll be back.
Yeah, absolutely. And Patrick's going to get another double up there, and we'll see. But I think Des will probably call that a night whilst those two play their heads up and see that out to a conclusion. I'll update the leaderboard on the website.
We can do that, Lee. We can absolutely do that. So, without further ado, Dan, thanks for spending the evening with us. We'd have been very, very lonely without you, because Lee would have been the only one moving, as you can see. Have a good week, right? And we'll catch up with you again shortly, sir. Of that, I have no doubt. For everybody else, thank you for playing with us this week. Good luck next week. It all kicks off tomorrow night, as you would expect. And we will let you know what our plans are for next weekend, because it sounds like with Manchester in full play, we might be doing some swirly stuff. So let's see how that runs out. More to follow within the Facebook group. So have a great week, folks, and we shall see you all next weekend. Night-night now.